Greetings, ladies and gentlemen of the internet. This is the Valwagnet, as always, coming to you from another episode here in our hardcore survival totemless world. Oh yeah. And today, got a lot going on. About 6-7-ish hours of footage condensed down into about 20 to 30 minutes for your viewing pleasure. We got a lot of landscaping to do, a lot of trees to build, a lot of resources to gather, caves to torch, slimes to kill, gunpowder to get, things to do, and randomness to ensue and to incur. So sit on back. We're going to start with some planting of some trees. And by planting, of course, I mean building our own trees because we do not plant trees here. We build them. So, again, sit on back and let's get right into it, shall we? is where I would say end of super fast build mode, or in this case grind mode, but it's not. We're just doing a little bit of talky talk over it while we're gathering our mud here. We need a lot in order to finish the path, as well as get the texturing neat and tidy on most of the buildings. We're going to need a lot of the packed mud and a lot of the regular mud to haul it all together and to make it nice and neat for us. So the only way to do that, to deforest a mangrove forest. Get rid of all the juicy mud and the mud roots, and eventually we'll probably come back and take out all of the mangrove trees as well, because we're going to need a ton of leaves, a ton of wood, and what better place than a place that we've already pretty much destroyed completely to go ahead and grab all of those things that we need. I think it'll work just nicely. And in this case, we needed to fill up 7 or 8 shulker boxes full of the mud just to give us a start here on how many more shulkers we actually need for it. It's going to be crazy. I've never really used mud, to be honest with you, but I really, really like the texture of it, and I really like the look of it. I also like that it is lower than 1 block, and it just makes for a nice and easy texturing facade to go with our muddy forest that we've got going on here. I think it looks really, really good, especially with a gray concrete, gray terracotta, and some other gray blocks up in there as well. I think it looks really good, though, and yeah, I'm impressed with it. Easy as that, though, mud gathering is complete. And just like that, we are back building our trees. You sick of this yet? Because we've gotten to a point where I've built so freaking many of these trees that I can do it in my sleep at this point. It is getting a little insane, a little crazy, and there's still so much unused real estate. And I think we're going to have to break it up because I simply do not want to build thousands more trees. I really, really don't. So there's one entire side of our encampment here that I feel maybe we could do with some mountaineering. We could cut off access to that side via a mountain, and that would help a little bit with our monogamy. I can't ever say that word, but I think it would help a lot if we were to simply take one side of the island and kind of cap it off. And if we did that, then we really don't have to put in as many trees as I think we do. Don't get me wrong, I enjoy making the trees, different sizes, varieties, colors, textures, and all of those things. Especially that each and every single one of the trees is slightly different than the last. Whether it be height, leaf color, branch color, whatever it may be. All of them are slightly different, which I do enjoy from time to time. And it gives you the illusion that it is actually a forest that we've got going on here, which I like. But I do want to kind of break it up, and I've been thinking a lot about how we are going to use and utilize every single block that this game has to offer. And we're going to have to do some weird shit, is what I have come up with. Such as, we probably need a rock garden meditation area. We probably need a market square area in which to use a lot of vibrant colors and wools and textures of that nature. Because I don't really know how else we would bring them in. We're going to need a vibrant area with the glazed terracotta. So I was thinking like a sand garden. And then we can have our bamboo in there as well, because I think it would fit the theme and be able to work very nicely. I think we're going to need some kind of sitting area, park, campfire, tenting area. So like in the middle of the woods, we'll have we'll build a bunch of woods, and then we'll set up like 6 or 8 tents or something like that, just on like the outskirts of town, to see if that can improve and help with the struggle of using each and every block. It's a lot. We're gonna have to do many things that I've never done before. Set up mausoleum, set up crypt, set up a bunch of randomness that doesn't seemingly make sense, but also does make sense in the grand scheme of our little village here. I think it's gonna be a really good idea, and a hard execute for me, which is actually a really good thing. For me, the more I challenge and restrict myself, the better things seem to turn out, simply because I have to build in a way that I normally would not build, and that allows me to influence my creativity and not be so restricted, while also restricting myself. I know it's a bit of an oxymoron, however, it is very true. Every single time we implement one of these rules, one of these restrictions on ourselves, it forces me to build in a way that I never would have if I did not have the rule in place. And I think that partially makes me a little bit of a better builder constantly, because I am imposing these self-inflicted rules on myself, and they seem to just help. They seem to allow me to bring out aspects that I didn't even know were freaking possible, and that is a very cool thing, and one that I do not take lightly. But it is very nice to see it all coming together. We got the pathway in here, it's kind of disheveled. We've got all of these nooks and crannies, some of which are pristine, and some of which are just simply not. And we will add all of these textures and stuff to really refine how we do this. We still need to add in a metric ton of smaller trees here, which is fine. We can do that, not a problem. And we're going to use a lot of like diorite and andesite walls, I think, in order to fulfill those things, as well as granite walls, because the color. It's one of those things that it's very easy to use all the different types of leaves, very easy to use all the types of wood and all the fences. But then there's certain walls that are very difficult to utilize, and I think those 3 are going to be some of the challenging ones for me if I do not use them as little tiny trees, little versions of these. So we'll make them much smaller, shorter than these, but they will be skinny, and we might be able to do some gradient action and stuff into that as well. And I think that would be a really cool thing, in my personal opiniones, you know? So we're gonna keep on building here, keep on making our trees, and keep on going in the best way that we possibly can with some jump cuts. We'll be right. So majestic, so enchanting. I love adding roads, making things come to life. It's starting to really pop and come together from this view. You can kind of get the gist of it, and man, is it becoming beautiful. I like the idea of leaving a few of these trees as bare bones. Don't know why, but it makes me a little bit happy and I enjoy it. I really do. Something about all of this trying to stay organized between fighting your GUI and getting things done in some kind of fashion is a very hard thing for me to do, I'm realizing. Just kind of watching back what I do and when I do it is so random, so just unhinged. I truly wonder if other people play Minecraft in quite the same caliber and quite the same way as I do. Working on task to task, but never really finishing any of those tasks, while simultaneously starting new tasks and finding ways in which to get distracted almost constantly is kind of how I play this game. And it's so unhinged, so ADHD nightmare fueled that I truly wonder how many people actually play it like this. Do people work on a task from start to finish and then work on the secondary task? Or do people do a little bit of this, a little bit of that? Do people go and do a whole bunch of gathering and collecting resources all in one load to further their Minecrafting? I genuinely do not know. I don't know how people play this game, and I really am interested and very curious on figuring that out. Because to me, at the very least, watching this, I'm like, there is no story. There is no kind of any kind of direction for anything, to be honest. And I'm just zipping around. I do this, I do this, I do this for like 5 minutes at a time, and then I go do this for 5 minutes and this 5 minutes, and then next thing you know, I've invested, 3 hours of time. And somehow, in those 3 hours of time, I have managed to accomplish literally nothing. And it's quite amazing. You can see how it comes together little by little here, right? In that we build pathways, we get it all laid out, we built the base of the houses, we start doing the decorating, then we build some of the trees, we fill in some of the landscape, and definitely there are some areas that are getting very close to being finished without the finalizing touches, obviously. But without the detail, it still looks pretty good, and it feels like areas are actually getting completed, which is great. But still, it's so random how I do this. And just watching all of the footage back that I've recorded for this, and at this point it's like, I don't know, 10 days of footage or something, IRL. And it's just crazy. It's mind-blowing to me of how chaotic it is. Because if we just focused on one task at a time, we would be able to get at least feel like there was so much more being done than what there actually is. So, you guys will have to let me know if this is a me thing or if this is just simply how Minecraft is played in general, because I literally have no idea. And I just kind of wing it. Make it up as I go along and do all the stuff and things that is involved in that as well. But it's how I like to play the game, and it's for some reason, as much as I would love to do it in some kind of way, there is not a way for my brain to process it in just that regard. So we stick to our chaotic, random style, and we just go for it. We just send it as hard as we can, and with that, we are able to eventually get things done. Though sometimes it takes 3 hours, and sometimes it it takes 6 months. That's just really the short and curlies of it, but you know how it goes. So, sit on back. We're going to do one final time lapse of the video and make some more progress. Simply beautiful, huh? Here we got our weird texture going on for our, I don't know, the graveyard, our little mausoleum, our little crypt area that we've got going on here. And I think it's gonna be kind of spicy. Kind of blends in with the rest of the terrain. We're gonna add a little bit of other blocks in here as well to really vibrant that up and make it kind of what we need, which is perfect, in fact. We got our little leafy bits, our little wheats, and our random leafage in here, and I think it looks pretty damn good so far. Now comes the darkening. But you see, all part of the aesthetic. We just got to get all of these different textures, these different blocks in here, and I'm gonna make it fit. We'll do smooth gradients and transitions and all of that, so that these things don't look out of pocket and out of shape, but, you know, it's starting to work. And I'm really starting to vibe with all the random blocks that we got in here. It just looks so freaking good. But that's going to do it for me today. Thanks so much for watching, and until next time, ciao. Goodbye.